Hey, if you look up Jem's Art Studio, they have this beautiful Ukrainian sunflower. It's absolutely worth checking out. All the profits are going to go to help Ukrainian charity, so please check it out. It'll be great. All the links will be below in the description and probably here in the picture. But yeah, go help them out. Ukrainians are going through hell right now.
This Organized Chaos video is brought to you by Jem's Art Studio. Jem's Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find Jem's Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/Jem's Art Studio. This video is also brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hey, I absolutely was not expecting the last episode to be dedicated on Comicsgate. I wasn't expecting Ethan Van Sciver to actually do a reaction to my reaction. So that was the thing that happened. I felt like since I'm being destroyed, I should respond to it. And honestly, after watching it and putting it together, like the end of that Death of Comicsgate video, it felt sad. And the reason it felt sad, it takes a little bit to kind of figure out why it feels sad, is because these people who are tweeting me nonstop and dropping comments, and FYI, I'm probably going to start regulating the comments because they're getting ridiculous. I'm not going to block anything that's already been posted, but if you get too harassing on those comments, I'm going to start blocking people. You know who you are. I don't want to deal with stuff like this anymore. I'm all for free speech, but my comment section is not the fucking public square. If you want to debate, that's fine. If you want to get harassy, you're getting blocked. But yeah, I wasn't expecting Ethan Van Sciver, and thanks for watching, Ethan. I'm sure you're watching this right now. You're probably in the premiere like you were last time, so hi. It was very nice of you to send your goons on me, and it's interesting, because it's clear, like, you just have your goons. You don't even have to do your dirty work for you. You can just kind of pop up in a video and be like, oh, I'm innocent, and just have your goons do the dirty work. And that's a very honorable thing, dude. Not. But it's interesting because that last video was so, like, sad at the end. And the reason why it's sad is because these are sad people, including you, Ethan. They're part of this movement and they're losing. This is a dying movement. Comicsgate, who knows how much life it has left, and I'm sure Ethan just wants to get what money he can out of it before it fully dies. And no matter how much they ratio me, no matter how many more subscribers or views he can get over me, it doesn't change the fact that the movement's dying. There's an expiration date on that movement. We don't know when it is, but at some point it's gonna be gone, and it'll be a joke. It's a joke right now, to be perfectly honest. But pretty soon it's going to be a joke that everyone can laugh at. And keeping in the theme of jokes, we're going to do something more fun this time. I'm going to take my first request. I've gotten a couple requests. And the first one, react to Critical Drinker next. Either his Batman review or his Lord of the Rings of Power video. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I know about Critical Drinker. Which is not a whole goddamn lot. I know he's a really popular YouTuber. He does movie-based content, kind of like I do. However, here's a little fact about me, is I try to actually avoid lots of movie-based content. There's lots of stuff I do kind of watch, mainly with my kids, like fanboy flicks I enjoy. But I try to stay away from people who do more, like, modern stuff, because I don't want their opinions in any way to influence mine. Because in lots of times you'll hear an opinion and it'll just kind of stick in your head. And when I write my own content, I want it to be as much me as possible. So I usually avoid watching other movie reviews and stuff like that. I've just been more and more like that the more I've done this thing. I don't watch other movie reviews, except if it's something weird that I'm never going to talk about, really. So what I know about Critical Drinker is that he's super popular. The idea sounds kind of fun. It sounds kind of like a Mr. Plinkett movie review thing. You know, drunk guy watching a movie. I don't like this. I don't like... That could be fun. I've seen some of his tweets. I'm not thrilled with a lot of them. I don't know if I'd say I hate him. I did see he appeared on the Chrissy Meyer podcast, and that was the same one Ethan Van Sciver appeared on, and she was the one that told the racist joke, so that's fun. That being said, I might go on that podcast if I wanted to confront her with that joke and ask her what's up with that and see what's up with it. So him appearing on that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's like a warning flag for me, but doesn't mean anything. I'm kind of hoping I enjoy it, honestly. So I have his page pulled up. There it is. All right. Critical Drinker. 1.12 million subscribers. Damn. I'm hoping I enjoy this because I could see this being kind of fun. Like I said, it could be like a Mr. Plinkett thing. Like I said, a lot of his tweets I'm not thrilled with, but it could also be part of a joke. I don't know if this is a joke thing. It could be half joke, half serious. Like, the very premise of this, I'm not gonna lie, I think sounds kind of fun. You know, drunk guy reviewing movies. Sure, why not? Let's see, the Batman is his newest one. God, I just did Batman, but, I don't see Ring of Power in the past 3. Okay, we're gonna do Batman.
You know, I was once on a lad's holiday in the Czech Republic, and naturally the first thing we wanted to do after dumping our stuff at the hotel was get a few rounds in. So after making a few polite inquiries with a local cab driver, we found ourselves outside one of the most dodgy looking boozers that I've ever been to. I kid you not, there was a couple of guys near the entrance who couldn't seem to decide whether they wanted to fight the bouncer or each other. But the driver assured us that this place was just what we were looking for. So like the trusting fools we were, in we went. Unfortunately, I think he misunderstood what exactly we were after there, because the main item on the menu was ladies of the night rather than beer and spirits. But hey, when in Rome and all that. And as it turns out, we had a pretty decent evening. I also discovered that strippers are surprisingly good at pool when they're playing for money. Anyway, the point I'm making with this shite is that while life sometimes takes you on a bit of a roller coaster ride of expectations, the end result usually falls somewhere in the middle, neither as good as you'd hoped or as bad as you'd feared. Which brings me neatly along to the Batman.
Okay, the intro was kind of cute, not as funny as I'd hope. I see what he's doing, though. Like, he's setting up his Batman review nicely. It's a bit more, kind of a story-based approach to reviewing. I don't know if he's going to stick that way, but I kind of like he's setting you up for what he's going to say. It's well done.
A movie saddled with so many conflicting expectations that I went into it more confused than an 18-year-old gender studies student. My first reaction when they announced the movie was going to be a complete reboot focusing on Batman's early career was, oh fuck off, how many more times do we need to see Thomas and Martha Wayne get gunned down in that fucking alleyway?
True, oh my god. Please no more pearls ever again. Never again. And didn't we even get that in fucking Joker? We don't need any more Thomas and Martha getting shot. I'm so done with it.
I was also pretty pissed off that Ben Affleck had been denied the chance to finally go on a proper Batman adventure after slogging through 2 overblown CGI shitfests, and in his place we'd been lumbered with Shovel Face and his mopey emo haircut.
I'm not as against Robert Pattinson, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't like Batfleck, but I think he did bring a lot to the role. I think he could have done a good movie. So, if he had started this, I would have been interested. Yeah, I'd like to see him, what he would bring to bear.
My resentment towards the film's new star wasn't exactly helped by rumours that he was difficult to work with on set, refusing to get in shape for the role, and was generally a bit of a dick. Then the trailer started coming out.
Was there serious issues? I know there was some issues with him working out, but I mean, he was in shape for this movie, so... I mean, there's an argument you don't need to be you need to be in good shape, but doesn't mean, like, you're super ripped. Like, the type of ripped, like, Ben Affleck was for his Batman movies is kind of over the top. Like, because you need to be kind of lean, because you need to be able to move quickly, too. You don't need to be, like, fucking buffed and roided out for Batman. You just need to be in really good shape, which I think Pattinson kind of had down.
And holy shit, things took a turn for the better. Finally, we had a Gotham City that actually looked like Gotham City. We had a Batman who was pitted against grounded, realistic opponents, and a director who didn't feel the need to shoot 90% of his movie in fucking slow motion. But now that I've actually seen it...
Yes, thank you.
The Batman. Was it as good as I'd hoped or as bad as I'd feared? The answer, in case you missed the entire intro to this video, is neither. There's definitely positives to this movie, and you certainly won't be wasting your time by watching it, but there's also some niggling issues that start to grate after a while and hold this film back from being something truly special. I'll give you a quick plot summary here, and because I know a lot of people haven't seen it yet, I'm going to do my best to keep things as vague and spoiler-free as possible.
Yeah, and I'll be blunt, being spoiler-free always was a struggle for me.
So grab your back credit cards and join the drinker as we paint the town of Gotham red. The movie begins a couple of years into Batman's crime-fighting career. He's beginning to strike fear into the hearts of criminals throughout Gotham City, but he's also still young and inexperienced. And well, he's only one man at the end of the day. He can't be everywhere at once, and despite his best efforts, the city's slowly descending into corruption.
I think he's decent. What I'm kind of struggling with here is, what do I say? I don't want to just do a video where I watch his video. But so far, I think he's decent. I'm kind of on board. Yeah.
Chaos and decay. Things escalate rapidly when the mayor gets murdered in his own home, heralding the arrival of a mysterious serial killer known only as the Riddler. Pretty soon, Bruce is on the case, and his investigation leads him into the city's dark underbelly of organised crime, where he begins to uncover evidence of corruption and conspiracies that reaches to the very highest levels of government, and maybe even his own family. Each new victim left by the Riddler fills in another piece of the puzzle and brings him one step closer to uncovering the truth. At one point, he even joins forces with Selina Kyle, a nightclub worker and part-time cat burglar with connections to the criminal underworld, who's also out for answers after her best friend goes missing. But the closer he gets to solving the case, the more he begins to question what he's actually fighting for, how much the Riddler really knows, and whether one man can even hope to make a difference, or whether Gotham is simply a lost cause. If I had to sum up the plot for the Batman, I'd say it plays out like a hybrid of Seven and Joker. You've got a crazed serial killer orchestrating a series of grisly murders, often involving torture and mutilation, but there's also an underlying purpose and motivation behind his actions, a point he's trying to make about human greed, selfishness, corruption and cruelty. You've got a jaded hero tasked with hunting him down, but the more the story progresses, the more he begins to question whether the killer might have a point, and whether the world he's trying to protect can or even should be saved. And like in Joker, you've got a scathing critique of a cruel, indifferent society in decline, where people are more interested in looking out for themselves than helping others, where the rich and privileged exploit the downtrodden masses for their own selfish gain, and where innocents are abandoned and forgotten by an uncaring system that only exists to maintain the unfair status quo. It's all good stuff, and it's nice to see a film tackle issues like this in a serious, mature way.
Like I said, this is pretty good. I'm having trouble having stuff really to add. I don't agree with him 100%. I've given my takes on the Batman before. Watch my podcast. That Ben Shapiro video, I talk about it. He's way worse. Ben Shapiro's way worse at this. I'm fine with this. This is, I was concerned kind of knowing what I've seen from Critical Drinker, but this is so far totally decent.
Instead of just blurting out a bunch of meaningless platitudes and expecting the audience to clap like mindless seals.
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up.
This is very much a film written for adult sensibilities, and while it doesn't have the gore and visceral horror of Seven or the emotional intensity of Joker, it's still a...
I do hear lots of people say the Seven comparison. Outside of some, surface level stuff, I didn't really get it so much. It felt like surface level stuff for Seven. Joker, I'm not really seeing a comparison other than dealing with wealth and inequality, but then you could also say this movie's like Parasite then. Like I said, these are minor quibbles. Overall, I think this is a decent review. I think he's mostly right in hitting the nail on the head.
Step in the right direction for a studio that hasn't known what to do with its most compelling character since the Dark Knight trilogy. And fuck me, It's nice to finally see the world's greatest detective actually do some detective work for a change. Bruce has to spend a fair amount of time in this movie doing mundane stuff like collecting evidence, examining clues, infiltrating targets, and teasing information out of suspects, rather than just punching people and blowing stuff up. That being said, it is a bit weird to see him literally working alongside Gotham PD like he's one of the boys in blue. I mean, he's nominally on their side, I guess, but ultimately...
I mean, there's a little bit of that. I don't know. I don't think it's too much. There's lots of animosity between him and the police. Pretty much outside of Gordon, none of the police want him there. Gordon kind of has to force him in.
He's still a vigilante, and last time I checked, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. And it's...
Yeah, but it's pretty clear the police don't want him there, so that's my one quibble so far. Yeah.
It's funny because at one point he even gets knocked unconscious, so they would have had the perfect opportunity to unmask him, but for some reason they decide not to do it. I guess Gotham PD really believes in fair play or something.
I guess. I just assumed they didn't want to be dicks, which, I don't know. Yeah, lots of them are corrupt, so, yeah.
Detective aspects of this story are good for fleshing out Bruce as a problem solver rather than just a big tough brawler. But then there's other times when all that intellect mysteriously goes out the window and he starts acting like a clueless moron. Like standing right next to a bomb that's about to explode and making no effort to flee despite the big shiny digital timer telling him he's only got a few seconds to go. Or choosing to fight his way into a nightclub against a small army of private security.
I thought there was a bit more than that, but now I'm trying to think, and now it's been over a week since I've seen it, so my memory's... I thought there was a bit more, like they had a way to maybe get the guy out, but maybe not. Maybe not. He might be right.
Security, despite the place being crowded with innocent civilians who could easily get killed in the crossfire. Or the entire finale of the movie...
Well, he's still learning, and he's a little clumsy. He's not perfect. So you're not wrong, but I do feel it plays more into the story than you're giving it credit. But you're not wrong. He's not being careful.
Hinging on him bumping into one cop who happens to blurt out a vital piece of information at just the right moment to give him the final clue he needs. Damn, what a coincidence. In terms of cinematography and emotional tone, this movie is pitch perfect, giving us a dark, moody, oppressive world of neon-soaked streets, aborted construction projects, dingy back alleys, seedy nightclubs, and crumbling, neglected public buildings.
Yeah, the look of this movie is stellar. Yeah.
Reminds me of Birmingham now that I think about it. People often describe Gotham City as a character in itself, and I think Matt Reeves understands that perfectly. Whereas the Gotham of Nolan's films was literally just New York by a different name, and
Chicago.
Tim Burton's version was a hyper-stylized gothic industrial nightmare world. Reeves strikes the perfect balance between the two extremes. It's vaguely recognizable.
I would give Burton more credit. He definitely did his Burton-esque Gotham, which I actually kind of like. How's it compared to the Batman? I still might actually... I don't know. I might prefer the Batman to be a bit more Burton-esque. Maybe something in between what actually the Batman does and what Burton does would probably be perfect. The animated series. Do what the animated series does in live action. Because that's perfect, because it has just enough Burton, but not over the top. But yeah, overall, like, just a raw look. I mean, I love the look of Burton's movies overall, but yeah, this is probably the best, like, visual experience you're gonna get from Batman is the Batman.
As New York, but it's darker, dirtier, and more dangerous, and it's a fucking great place to explore. One criticism I absolutely have to make about this film, though, is the length. The Batman is 3 hours.
Yes! You know, I think I'm going to really like this movie when I have access to a pause button. I really do. Sitting in a theater, oof, God.
Hours long, and while I don't object to longer movies if there's enough plot to support it, I think this is one example where it definitely could have been trimmed down. There's a lot of flabby edits, shots of Batman walking around crime scenes that go on forever, and scenes and conversations that take way longer than they should, and the end result is a film that feels kinda bloated and frustrating. There's plenty of interesting stuff going on, I just wish the film would get to it a bit quicker, and if you find yourself checking your watch during a film like this, it's a pretty sure sign that it needs to get a move on. The cast casting is kind of a mixed bag. Robert Pattinson is an actor that's gradually gone up in my estimation over the years, slowly putting Twilight behind him, and he's clearly playing a very unbalanced version of the character that's skewed more towards Batman than Bruce Wayne. And to be fair to him, he's a pretty good Batman, although I've always kind of suspected that the suit was just as important as the actor in it. Put just about anyone in a big armoured muscle suit like this, give them some ominous music to work with, and there's a certain intimidation factor that naturally goes along with it.
See, I've kind of wondered about that, because I don't know if it takes a great actor to actually play Batman. It doesn't hurt, obviously. I think we've been lucky because a lot of the actors we've had have given a really good job, like Pattinson. Really, the only half-assed Batman we had was George Clooney. So I guess it does kind of blow up his argument that it doesn't really matter, because the more I think about it, George Clooney did not work as Batman, and it's not because he can't do it, it's because he didn't care to do it. So I guess it does matter. But as it is something I've pondered before, does it actually matter who plays Batman? And now he's got me thinking about it. I think it does, but it's not a bad point. Yes, it's so real time. You're getting me coming to this conclusion, because initially I was kind of agreeing with him, but now I'm like, no, it matters. But it's not a bad point.
But I think where his portrayal comes unstuck is when he has to be Bruce Wayne. Clearly, this isn't the billionaire playboy that we've seen in other movies, which I'm fine with because, like I say, he's meant to be unbalanced and obsessive. But the thing is, there's more to Bruce Wayne than lavish parties and fast cars. He's supposed to represent the human, vulnerable side of Batman, the guy who serves as a window into the man behind.
Yeah, I do feel like we don't really get that, which is, I believe the movie's going for that. Yeah, if that doesn't work for you, then yeah, I get it. Because they don't... Bruce and Batman are the same character here. And that's absolutely what they're going for. He's not developed any Bruce Wayne personality. It's just Bruce, Batman, same.
Behind the mask, and in this case, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot there. Pattinson delivers a performance that's bland, indifferent, and mopey as Bruce Wayne. I don't get the impression of a tortured soul filled with...
Oh, I got the impression of a tortured soul. I thought he did a good job. I would disagree there.
Rage and obsessed with finding his man at any cost. He seems more like the kind of guy who locks himself in his bedroom every night and listens to My Chemical Romance while writing poetry about how the world doesn't understand it.
Okay, I don't agree with his assessment of the performance, but that's funny. Just that visual, that's funny.
And that's a real problem, because if you can't identify with the protagonist, then it's kind of hard to get invested in their struggles. The movie tries to put him through the mill by making him question his family legacy, and even putting the people he cares about in danger, but I find myself weirdly disconnected and indifferent to his struggles, because I never really cared about him as a person. Andy Serkis was a weird choice for Alfred. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great actor and I definitely like him, but the fact is, he's too young for a role like this. Alfred's supposed to be a kindly father figure to Bruce, but this version seems more like a moody older brother. The fact that
I don't know if I quite agree with that. That being said, he doesn't have a whole lot of screen time. There's not a whole lot for him to do here. There is something big for him to do, but even that, like, it's something that happens to him. It's not, he's spoiler free, so I'm not going to get into it, but it's something that happens to him. It's not something he does. That's a big point in the movie.
He looks and talks more like a South London gangster than an upper-class butler. Just adds to the impression that he was badly miscast in the role.
I don't think he's miscast. I just don't think they fully flesh out his character. I think he could do better with more.
Zoe Kravitz, on the other hand, was a welcome surprise. She's beautiful and seductive when she needs to be, but she's also capable of kicking ass when the situation demands it. I mean, yeah, it often involves some very accommodating stuntmen, but that's pretty much par for the course these days. What's interesting, though, is that she never gets to overshadow Batman himself. The one time they come to blows, he easily dominates the fight and disarms her, because of course he would. He's about twice her fucking size. And he's Batman. Paul Dano seems to be making a career out of playing creepy weirdos who look like serial killers, so there's absolutely no worries about his portrayal of the Riddler.
Yeah, I thought he owned this movie. Paul Dano was great, and yeah, he has that look, so I mean, go for it, man.
But fuck me, I'll never understand why they cast Colin Farrell as Penguin, only to bury him under so much makeup that he looks and sounds like a completely different person.
He does, but he does a good job, too. He's a good actor. I was disappointed when he disappeared in Fantastic Beast, That being said, he's probably lucky to be out of that franchise.
Like, if you really want a fat, ugly, middle-aged man for the role, why not just cast someone who looks like that in the first place? Are you really telling me that Colin Farrell's such an amazing actor you had to put him through all that just to get him in your movie?
You know, he does a good job, but he's a critical drinker here. He's not wrong. You could find somebody who's closer to that description who could probably also do a great job.
There seems to be a bit of a debate going on about whether or not this movie is woke, mainly because of the demographics of certain characters. And to be fair, there is a bit of evidence to support this claim.
Uh-oh. Please don't talk about woke stuff. I'm so done. Fucking woke stuff. Oh my god, fuck.
If I was a cynical man, I'd say it's kind of interesting that the rich, corrupt scumbags targeted by the Riddler all happen to be straight, white, middle-aged men. But hey, I guess that's just...
Really? Because they're the ones with all the power. That's why. I mean, look at our modern society. That's 99% of the people with the wealth and the power. They're all white men.
It's a total coincidence. As for race swapping certain characters...
No, it's not coincidence. It's how the societies are lined up. Okay. It's weird. So I agree with 99% of this. But yeah, that's just obvious. It's going to be white men. That's a demographic. Predominantly white men.
Yes, that does indeed happen here. But I should probably point out that Billy D. Williams was playing Harvey Dent way back in 1989. And nobody seemed to give a shit about that. And to be fair...
I never even thought about that. Yeah, nobody cared that Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent in 89. He was good at it. He should have played it in Batman Forever.
Kravitz and Jeffrey Wright both do a great job with the roles they're given, and apart from one poorly judged line from Catwoman right at the end, race never really comes into the picture. So I guess what I'm saying here is that while the movie takes a few little stabs at modern day social issues, it really never dominates the narrative. Now, I've made no secret of the fact that I've become a bit disenchanted with superhero movies in recent years. DC's...
Oh, we all have. I still, I'm an old comic book junkie, so I still like them. I'm still gonna watch them, but yeah, I'm a little burnt out.
Failed attempts to launch an extended universe despite having the best and most popular characters you could ask for, combined with Marvel's endless conveyor belt of bland, generic, cookie-cutter sludge, has gradually soured me on the whole genre. But
I mean, I think I like Marvel more than him, but I'm really getting the complaint. I mean, I go over the Marvel formula in my last Marvel vs. DC video. It's pretty easy. I think they get good actors and they pull it off nicely, but yeah, it's you're really feeling them cranking it out, especially now they finished phase 1, phase 3, phase 4. I mean, they have some good stuff, but you feel them cranking it.
Batman, despite being about 30 minutes too long and having 3 unsatisfying endings instead of one properly constructed finale that ties everything together, proves that even well-worn characters have still got a bit of life in them, provided you put them in the hands of capable writers and directors. And I think that's what we ended up with here. A well-made, well-intentioned movie done by a man who understands the source material and laying the groundwork for what I guess is going to be an entire trilogy of films. And to be honest, I'm down with watching more of this. Compared to the increasingly fantastical MCU, a dark and grounded Batman series might be just what we all need. The Batman might not be perfect as a movie, but with a bit of luck, it represents the first tentative step down an interesting new path. And God knows we could use more of that these days. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I was not sure what I was in for, and... Oh no, it's starting something else. Oh, I should watch that video too. Willie Scridia, he's gonna be on the next podcast, everybody. Anyways, overall, I liked it. I like a little bit at the end, he talked about the woke stuff, and I didn't like his takes on that. That's about it. Overall, I think he's very good. If this is a general example, good. Excellent. Yeah, this is different. I was expecting you guys to send me cringe. This is okay. I know the other thing sent to me is gonna be cringe, but this is good. Critical drinker. Good job. I learned, as far as actual, the woke politics stuff, I totally kind of disagree with you at, but as far as actual movie critique, pretty good. I dug it. The stuff I disagree with you at is clearly opinions. It's not misreadings of the movie. We just have different opinions on it, which is what I got. Like, looking at, like, comparing this to Ben Shapiro's review, which is just fucking awful. He just doesn't understand this. And it's clear a critical drinker understands movie making and just the nuances of stories and things like that. So, yeah. This was a nice surprise. Overall, good. I mean, like I said, from that little woke thing, there might be other stuff that I dislike from this guy. But we'll see. And you know what I'm going to do? Well, yeah, I am subscribed to CP, of course. But let's go back here. Load up. I'm going to go ahead and give him a subscribe. We'll see what else he makes. Because outside of the little bit about woke politics, which was such a minor point here. It was such a minor point, I don't want to harp on it too much, because overall I thought that was a decent review. It was fun. He had some funny moments. Good job, man. I dug it.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't be.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.